Hello, exploring with Jay again. Today we are at another park. This is actually one of my favorite parks, and I've been coming down to this park for many years. It is called Lilydale Park, and Lilydale Regional Park. I'm sorry, I got to get it right. I'm going to film some of the main parts of the park today and some of the highlights of the park and points of interest and things like that. I'm at the gate on the east end, and I'll be bringing you through the majority of the park today. The reason I love this park is because it has a ton of history to it. Not all of it good. A lot of it's actually pretty dark. There's been a lot of rapes, murders, theft, burglaries, type of thing, accidental deaths. There used to be an old brickyard in here that made bricks for over 100 years. Old train trestles in here. There's sinkholes, there's waterfalls, there's springs that pop up out of nowhere. This park has a lot to offer. I'm going to kind of go down the road here and kind of show you the different points of interest. And one of the things I wanted to show right away here too is there's a lot of caves in this park, and most of which now are actually closed off due to obviously safety reasons. Teenagers like to go in there and do all kinds of stupid stuff. No, really? Exactly. Anyway, to my left here, just at the gate, this here is actually, I know it's hard to see on the camera, but this actually was an entrance to one of the caves. And this cave here actually had what we used to call the Stairway to Heaven and the throne room. I've also heard it called the candy caves or Candyman caves or something like that. But we'll progress down the road here to the next video, and I'll see you then. Alright, we're back. Here's first point of interest I wanted to show. This is a old train trestle. The Brickyard used to use this train track to haul bricks out of here and sell them and whatnot. Part of the trail is where the railroad used to be there, and the other part obviously you can't make it on top there. It's not safe. So, but yeah, this one all the way back towards the Brickyard. And another little piece there. So I thought I'd share that little tidbit for you. Now, one of the other things in this park too I wanted to share is it's actually one of the oldest untouched, well, fairly untouched bridges in the state of Minnesota. Not the oldest, but one of the oldest. And I'll show that to you too in a little bit. Real quick here while I can, this is one of the oldest bridges in the state. The only thing that's ever been done to it is the surface of it has been redone. Other than that, it has not been touched. But yeah, I thought I'd show that to you. Alright, here you've got a turnstile bridge. This is for the existing railroad tracks of the park. This bridge was built in, looks like 1815. It is Mississippi River Bridge number 15. And it's definitely showing its age. You used to be able to drive in here and actually get a closer look to it, but the power of the zoom, you can actually zoom right up onto it here. Like that, and there you go. Obviously this thing turns out and lets the bigger boats through, but now you can't get down in there and actually get a closer look of it due to that. So yeah, this is as far as we're going to go. Anywho, the Mississippi River Bridge number 15, built in 1815. Yes, that's right, 1815, 1815. And here we have, excuse me, Pickeral Lake. This is a runoff of the Mississippi River. You see these open dirt areas here on the bluff. That is actually the clay pits from the old brickyard. Brickyard carved all them out and is also a reason why it's available now for fossil hunting and whatnot. Got another train trestle bridge over here. Yep, that's nice. And also too, this area is very interesting too, because right here a couple of years ago, two unfortunate souls got buried alive in a landslide, and no, they did not make it. And they were young kids too, both of which had passed away. And also too, yeah, I'm in my truck, it's kind of cold out, but anyway, over here used to be a dirt parking lot, and the story goes that this dirt parking lot was a very small mobile home park. And back in the 60s, when St. Paul had the big flood, what had happened was the water rose so quickly, so rapidly overnight, nobody was expecting it, and the mobile homes then were flooded, and a few people lost their lives due to drowning. So, like I said, there's a little bit of a dark history involved with this park, and it is said it's to be haunted. I have not had any experiences here myself, but there's definitely been some stories about it. The two that I've heard are a couple of investigators in two different spots in this park investigating obviously a couple different areas. Captured some a distinctive woman's voice. I've never heard the audio. I cannot find the audio on the internet. I've only seen it through other comments on other videos of YouTube. So whether or not that to be true, I don't know. There's also another story of a couple of kids getting pulled over for loud music, and the officer issuing these kids a ticket, and not wanting the parents to find out about it, losing their driving privileges. They worked their butts off and came up with the money, only to go into the police station to pay the ticket, to the clerk saying that the cop that issued them the ticket had actually died several years before and couldn't have possibly wrote them the ticket, so therefore they didn't have to pay. So was it a cop that was playing a sick joke? Well, who knows. Like I said, I have never ever once had any kind of experience in this park. I've had a couple of bad feelings while being inside a cave, but who doesn't when you're inside a cave? So with that, I'm going to go on to the next here, which I believe will be the boat launch. This lake is also carry-in only here, so they don't want any boat motors or anything like that on here. On to the next. Another thing I wanted to mention is some of the trees down here in Lilydale are absolutely enormous. This one I've got centered here is about average size of what you're going to find right in and around St. Paul. But I wanted to document this tree here, not this tree, but yeah, that tree right there, which is right next to that tree that I was just pointing at. You can kind of see the the sheer size of the tree and kind of guess how old that big bastard is. Yeah. This, I think, I'm pretty sure this is probably one of the biggest trees in this park. Just thought I'd mention that. This thing is just enormous. So, anyway, pressing on. Alright, so from here on, from the big tree, it's pretty well straightforward. You got woods on your left, you got the river on your right, and yeah, nothing real special. The only thing you're going to see coming up here is the yacht club, and we'll get to that. And this brings us to the western edge of the actual park itself. You know, the trails of this park, they go on for miles, and obviously I can't film every inch of them trails, so you have to consult a map for that. But the park itself kind of ends at the yacht club here, and you got another little train trestle here, nice scary narrow bridge. The yacht club itself has had its share of history, boat fires and floods and such. So yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the park. I'm going to make a kind of a drive cam video here for you, and we're going to go for a little walk in the woods. Alright, so I'm on the southeast side of Pickeral Lake. I am at the location of where the two little kids lost their lives in a landslide. And behind me here, I will show you. Right here, this is a site of a massive landslide. Like I said, those two poor kids, they lost their lives falling down that ravine and being buried alive. Also too, here's some more evidence of the old Brickyard. Some of the ruins. Yeah. Alright, I guess we got some visitors. Alright, and here we have the location of the old brick oven. Doesn't look like I want to stand underneath this thing for too long. Well, it's probably sat here for well over 100 years. Yeah, that looks promising. But, yeah. That's what this thing was. Now, over here is one of is Minnesota's very own personal bat cave. Yeah, you heard that right. I said bat cave. B-A-T-C-A-V-E, bat cave. No, Batman does not live in there. No, Robin doesn't live in there either. It's called a bat cave because this is where the brown bats tend to live. Native to Minnesota. And they don't seal this entrance off because of that fact. They did seal it off just enough so you and I can't get in there. But it's still open enough so that the bats can get in and out. Now, I don't know if this is man-made or not. It wasn't always sealed. There is graffiti in there. There's also what looks to be a man-made door on the right side, so your guess is as good as mine. But should I be like Ed Shanahan and say, oh, there's a cold spot? No, I'm just kidding. See over here, clearly a man-made door at one point in time. This cave stinks. But there you have it. And then up above me here somewhere too are those clay pits that the Brickyard used. And I may have my dates wrong, but I do believe the Brickyard operated for over 100 years in this very spot and finally closed down in, I want to say, in the 1970s. I don't know if they used up all the resources, maybe ran out of money, environmentalists got to them. I have no idea. In fact, can't really find much online about the St. Paul Brickyard. Only that there's evidence that it existed. Alright. Now on the trail on the way back, I'm going to do a little more filming. Because there are some minor pieces left behind. Climb over this fence here from the Brickyard. Yeah, this is the trail that goes to the top of the bluff. Way in the hell up there. Nice and steep. And no, I am not going up there today. So, now, I did decide to stop and have a smoke break here. Enjoy the view. You gotta do that every now and then. But here's what I'm seeing. Now, they're still building up this park. Yeah, it's been here for a long, long time. But up until recently, the city of Lilydale owned it. And they couldn't upkeep it. Every year, snow would melt. And we'd get massive flooding in here, and then they'd have a hard time cleaning it up because they didn't have the funds. So Lilydale actually sold the park to the city of St. Paul. So the city of St. Paul now owns this park. And they've come in and they've installed benches. I do believe they're putting in a picnic pavilion. They're upgrading trails, putting fences in, other benches, putting some pipeline in for other reasons. They redid some of the road over here by Pickeral Lake. And basically, the city of St. Paul is putting a lot of money and a lot of effort into this park. And it shows, because when I first started coming down here, you'd barely see anybody down here. Except for, you know, the teenagers. The ones that want to go cave exploring and smoke weed and drink in the caves. And there's a bald eagle over here. I don't know if I can get him on camera or not. I'm trying to spot him. Right there. Lots of wildlife down here too. I have seen some very, very big deer. And lots of bald eagles. In fact, one time I came down here, I saw 6 bald eagles out on ice on the Mississippi enjoying a nice carp lunch. And I photographed the hell out of them too. But thought I'd give you a little bit more history on the park. So, like I said, it's a park that I've always enjoyed, and it's definitely gotten a lot busier over the years with the upgrades and whatnot. So if you haven't been down here in a few years, I strongly suggest you come down here and you check it out, because a lot's changed. Big old bald eagle. Sorry for the jumpiness, I got my zoom way up. It's not easy keeping this guy on the screen. Anyway, I'm going to finish my cigarette here, and we're going to go down that trail right there to go back to my truck. And that trail was the road that the St. Paul Brickyard used to use to get back here. And like I said, there's still evidence of them being here. There's a concrete slab right here that I have no idea what was used for, but could only be for the St. Paul Brickyard at one point in time. So, like I said, I'm going to finish my cigarette, and we'll progress down this trail and head back to the truck. There we go. This park is widely used for other reasons too. You'll find a lot of bicyclists down here. You'll find fishermen down here fishing the river at Pickeral Lake. You'll find hikers exploring the caves that don't go anywhere anymore. Fossil hunters. There's also a number of springs that flow down the bluffs, and we got ice climbers. Various things to do in this park, and some of which do require a permit, like climbing the ice dams and fossil hunting, and obviously fishing. Here's kind of an interesting area. I've spotted part of the train tracks that used to go back here that are buried and literally just kind of pop up out of nowhere and end. So, yep, still evidence down here. But a lot more people down here now recently, so that definitely makes things a lot safer. Now, with that being said, I am down here alone, and I do consider myself somewhat of an experienced woodsman. I do a lot of hunting, a lot of fishing, and I am well armed. I don't have a firearm on me by any means, but I do carry several weapons. I never, ever, ever, ever go into the woods without a knife, or three as it is today. Blades break, shit happens. Always have yourself a backup. But all in all, I mean, this is definitely a hidden gem for St. Paul. And like I said, they are putting a lot of work into it, so. Another piece of the St. Paul Brickyard. Oh, well, it can be seen. Just a post, little telephone pole. But like I said, you never know what to expect down here with this park's history. You never know when that criminal element is going to surprise you. So always be alert, always be aware of your surroundings down here. Especially when you're hiking the back trails. There are bums that live down here as well. You never know how desperate they are. You never know how hungry they are. Especially when you're somebody like me who's got expensive camera equipment. Oops. I'm sorry. I got my thumb on the zoom control. Fucking rookie. With that being said, there is 4 people, 3 female, 1 dog, or 3 male, 1 dog, 1 female, and they're about 400 yards over my right shoulder. Like I said, always be aware of your surroundings, and don't be afraid to look behind you every once in a while, because you just never know. Most people are like me. They just want to come down here and get away from the kid for a couple hours, check shit out, you know, do a little exploring, maybe do a little exercise. Nothing much to be afraid of. I definitely ain't afraid of no ghosts. No pun intended. I know I was Ghostbusters. Pun, but I'm more afraid of the criminal element in this park than any haunted areas. And I've been in all the caves. I'm not going to be like Ed Shanahan and walk up to the caves and freak myself out and feel cold air and 8:30 at night with the sun setting in the middle of summer and get freaked out by it, because that's just what happens. See, that's my truck there in the background coming up. Forgive my breathing, I'm a little out of breath. But there's one more spot that I wanted to film here for sure. One more little piece of evidence of the Brickyard. Coming up here. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you are watching this video, unsubscribe. I'm not going to put any vlogging bullshit on this channel. This is all exploration. This is all going to different parks in the Twin Cities metropolitan area. And here's an old electrical box. There's a lot of them. And that's the one thing I did notice on YouTube, is there isn't a whole lot of documentation in all our beautiful parks. And that is the reason, and the only reason, I am doing this. You go on the YouTube and you put in Lilydale Park and not a whole lot comes up except for some of the accidents that's happened recently, like I said, with the 2 young kids. But it's hard to find any of the further history, you know, like the St. Paul Brickyard. I dug and dug and dug and dug to find the story about the mobile home park that was down here that a few people drowned in. And that's what I believe created the floodplains with the insurance companies, so that this sort of thing doesn't happen. And this is the direct reason why you cannot build houses in areas like this that are prone to flooding most of the time. If they're already there, they're already there. But that's why nobody lives down here except for bums. So, but walking along this trail, you're also going to notice other caves. I zoom in here, like that one there. Sorry, the stick's kind of stealing my focus. They don't go anywhere. At the most, they might go in 10 feet, and then that's it. The caves that actually did go anywhere have been closed off for a very long time. There was actually 2 of them down here that actually went places. You could actually go in a ways. Not anymore. Again, further down the road, a couple of kids went into a cave, didn't realize that some idiot had a fire in this cave and filled the cave up with carbon monoxide. I believe there was 6 or 7 kids, and they all succumbed to the carbon monoxide. They all fell asleep. Well, all but one of them didn't wake up. The one that did managed to escape, get out of there, and call for help. So that left 5 or 6 serious fatalities. That's when St. Paul finally realized, hey, we really need to close these off. And that's when they did. They came in with tractors, bobcats, stuff like that, and we closed them. Now, if you're familiar with the area, back in the early 80s, I was knee-high to a grasshopper. They redid the Smith Street High Bridge. Well, most of that debris was actually trucked out of there, and they actually filled these caves with most of that debris. And then teenagers came in, reopened them up, and there you have it. So, if you're watching this. I hope you subscribe. Please subscribe. All this channel is for is to document our parks. Maybe try and explain a little bit of history. And forever embedded into the YouTube world. Thank you. And good day. Alright. One last little hurrah video here. I just got myself into a spot I haven't been into in a very long time. It used to have a theater setting to it with the remnants of old buildings. I'm actually at the top part of what would be Lilydale Park, and well, I'm not going to describe the scene. I'm just going to let you guys decide for yourself. So let me flip my screen around here. Check this out. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I apologize if the wind is affecting the camera. Obviously I can't tell at this point, but here's the old turnstile bridge way down there. Kind of follow the tracks here. Place where I was at for the where the mobile home park used to be is actually right here. That's about all I could see. One thing I want to mention is that from this spot you can actually see downtown St. Paul through the trees there. And not only that, but you can also, if I pan over here, we find the building there. You can also see downtown Minneapolis way off in the distance. How about that? So one of the few places here in St. Paul where you can actually see both downtown St. Paul and Minneapolis. I also wanted to give a little bit of history of the caves in this park. As far as the dates go, you're shit out of luck. It's hard enough finding the information as it was. But at one point they used them to make cheese. The beer companies used them to store beer. They used to use them to grow mushrooms before mushrooms became illegal. Yes, that's right. Among other uses, I'm sure. It is rumored that Al Capone himself had a house on the bluff somewhere up here, and that one of these caves actually went to his basement with a secret door, and he used to keep a boat handy down here on the river someplace in case the St. Paul police decided to squeeze him and whatnot. Then he had an escape route. Obviously, if you know your history of St. Paul, back then the St. Paul police were in Al Capone's pocket, among other people of political value. So, but yeah, this is the very top of Lilydale Park, and I kind of show you here. You really got to watch your step, because that first step, woo, she's a doozy. The caves that I was just at were the, what am I thinking of? The Bat Cave and that. That's actually way down through the trees, down over here to my right. So yeah, I mean, we're up here quite a ways. So, good. Please subscribe. Like I said, this this channel is all about exploring the parks. This is definitely a park that I want to highlight. It's one of my absolute favorite parks, just because of its history, the size, and the fact that St. Paul is actually putting a ton of money into it. So please subscribe, and I'll get more of these videos out to you. I plan on doing at least one park a week, maybe two if I can find one small enough. But it's starting to get dark here, and as you can hear by the wind, it is fucking cold. Excuse my French. So with that being said, I'm